Welcome to the deep dive.
Mhm.
Today, we're cutting straight to the chase on a problem that I think plagues just about every local service provider out there.
Mhm.
Whether you're, a plumber in Amarillo or running an HVAC business out in Pampa, Texas, it's always the same thing.
Mm.
This disconnect between the marketing reports you get and the actual money in the bank.
It's the classic frustration, isn't it? You get handed these glossy, complicated reports
Yeah.
full of these vibrant charts showing engagement and impressions. But the only metric that actually pays the bills is, well, it's just one thing.
Did the phone ring?
Exactly. Did the phone ring with a high-intent job ready to be booked?
Yeah.
Right now in my service area. That's it.
And that is the mission for today's deep dive. Our sources lay out this really defined outcome-oriented strategy that's designed specifically to get rid of that frustration.
Yeah.
We're looking at a system built for what they call predictive lead forecasting. And the promise here is, well, it's massive.
It really is.
It's to turn that marketing spend from some confusing expense into a reliable, actionable roadmap that can, say, guarantee your next 100 qualified service calls.
And they don't waste any time. The source material just dives right into what they call the ultimate trap for small businesses.
The Vanity Metric Trap.
That's the one.
Okay, so let's unpack that. What are the specific metrics that the source material calls out as being just a smokescreen? The ones designed to hide a low ROI.
Well, they list the usual suspects. Page views, bounce rate, social impressions.
The classic.
The classics.
Mm-hmm.
And the core argument is so powerful. These numbers, they inflate the success of an agency's activity.
What they did,
while completely ignoring the client's outcome. If your goal is to fix leaky pipes, watching your likes go up is just paying someone to make noise.
That distinction is so critical, and yet it's so often missed. Let's use that local roofer example from the source. You get a report saying, website traffic is up 50%. You should be celebrating, right?
You'd think so,
Mm-hmm.
but not necessarily. If that spike came from people way outside your service area,
Okay.
searching for things like roofing classes near Dallas or DIY roof repair tips, that increase is completely meaningless to your bottom line. You gained 0 new customers.
You just paid for noise.
You paid for noise.
So if we strip away that smokescreen, we get to what the source calls the WYSIWYG Promise. What you see is what you get. This whole idea of clarity in reporting seems to be the foundation of this entire strategy.
It really simplifies the whole thing. The philosophy behind it is it's a bit brutal, but it's effective.
How so?
If a metric doesn't directly lead to a ringing phone or a submitted form that generates revenue,
Yeah.
you ignore it, period.
Which means you're shifting the entire conversation. We're focusing on outcome metrics, what the client actually earned, not activity metrics, what the agency did.
Precisely. And this whole approach is driven by just 3 essential indicators.
Yeah.
These are what they use for their predictive forecasting.
All right, let's get into those because it sounds like these 3 points are the levers for the entire system.
They are.
So indicator number 1 is the baseline, lead call volume. But this isn't just, counting how many times the phone rings. If we want this data to be predictive, what kind of special tracking is required?
It all comes down to attribution. You absolutely have to know not just that a call came in, but exactly where it came from. And, just as important, if the lead was qualified.
And to do that,
You need something called dynamic number insertion, or DNI.
Okay, hold on. Why is DNI so critical here? Why can't I just slap a generic call tracking number on my website and call it a day?
Because DNI doesn't just tell you the phone rang. It instantly tags that specific call with the precise source. It knows the user search emergency water heater repair, clicked the Google ad that cost you, say, $7, and then dialed the number that appeared only for them. Without DNI, attribution is impossible.
And forecasting is just a complete guess.
A total guess.
And on the other side of that, for form submissions, I'm guessing we're not just counting newsletter sign-up.
No, not at all. They filter for high intent right out of the gate. A qualified form submission has to include a key qualification question.
Like what?
Something like, what is your budget? Or maybe, are you ready to book service within 48 hours? They are filtering out the tire kickers to make sure the volume is true volume.
And this is where the budget allocation starts to get hyper-efficient. Tell us how knowing the source of a lead impacts the roadmap for the next month.
It means you're immediately moving money to the channels that actually pay you back. It's
Okay.
that simple.
Right.
For example, if your data shows that 60% of your high-value leak repair calls came directly from the Google Map pack,
Right.
your strategy is defined for you. You shift your budget immediately to hyperlocal SEO. Why? because that channel delivers the highest value outcomes at the lowest cost.
That brings us perfectly to indicator number 2, local map pack ranking and visibility. The source calls this the urgency factor.
Oh, this ranking is absolute gold for any tradesman, particularly because of the crisis mentality of the customer.
You mean when something breaks?
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're searching for emergency HVAC Pampa TX, you're not price shopping. You're in a crisis. The sources state that these customers will hire one of the top 3 businesses in that map pack, listing 9 out of 10 times.
Wow. 9 out of 10. That's not a vanity metric. That's a revenue pipeline.
It's a direct pipeline.
So we track visibility for, say, the top 10 most valuable high-intent keywords like 24-hour plumber Amarillo. But here's my question. If the ranking slips from position 2 to position 4, wouldn't I just wait until my phone stopped ringing before I panic? How can I afford to pay attention to a ranking that hasn't hurt my revenue yet?
Because the entire point of this predictive model is to be proactive, not reactive.
Yeah.
A top 3 ranking is a direct leading indicator of future lead and call volume.
So it's a warning sign.
It's an early warning system. If the system detects a ranking slip for a core service, it flags it as an immediate threat to future revenue. You fix it before the calls drop.
And what's the immediate proactive response the source recommends to fix that slip?
Often it's about reestablishing local authority, and fast. They prescribe using powerful tools. Specifically, they mention Gemini-drafted, localized review responses,
So using AI to respond to reviews.
but intelligently. It means responding in a localized way to every new review to boost your prominence and signal relevance to Google. It's about immediately counteracting that slippage. You're anticipating the revenue drop and taking corrective action within hours, not weeks.
That really is the difference between reactive marketing and managing a growth machine. Okay, let's move to the third indicator, which ties all back to the money. Cost per qualified lead, or CPL. This is the ultimate efficiency check.
CPL is, hands down, the single best measure of a campaign's health and its efficiency, and its predictive value is tied directly to the other 2 indicators.
Meaning the whole goal here is just to drive that CPL down over time. It's a measure of compounding efficiency.
Precisely. If your organic lead and call volume increases, because of that strong map pack performance and a great website, your fixed investment is suddenly delivering more leads.
So your CPL naturally goes down.
It naturally decreases. You're getting more work for the exact same marketing dollars. That's the definition of a healthy system.
And conversely, what happens if that CPL spikes?
That's a red flag. It immediately flags underperformance in real time, and it requires a rapid overhaul. And again, the system relies on those AI-powered tools, Gemini in this case, to quickly rework ad copy or landing pages. This focus on agility ensures minimal capital is wasted.
Okay, so we have the 3 data points: true volume, local visibility, and efficiency, which is CPL. Now let's talk about the machine that weaves this all together into that predictive forecasting model.
This is how they escape the guessing game and move to, well, guaranteed growth. The first step is what they call data aggregation and cleansing.
Which means pulling all the data together, calls, forms, conversion metrics, but also making sure it's clean data.
That is the crucial part. The sources mention using internal documentation, organized by a system like Notebook LM, to tie every single metric back to a defined, high-intent action. Think of it like a super-organized digital filing cabinet for your performance data.
And the cleansing part is essential for accuracy, I assume. You have to filter out the junk.
Absolutely. This is where you get to the true count of qualified leads. You religiously filter out spam, wrong numbers, and maybe most importantly, out-of-area inquiries.
Right, garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly. If you don't clean the data first, your forecast is based on garbage. You end up celebrating clicks from people looking for jobs instead of customers looking for service.
Okay, so once the data is clean, step 2 is correlation analysis. The source mentions using specialized dashboards like Looker Studio for this.
This step makes attribution totally transparent. You're correlating the qualified lead call volume directly with the specific marketing activities that generated them.
So you're asking questions like,
Did that new landing page we launched for slab leak detection in Amarillo actually lead to a measurable increase in high-value calls, or did it just generate some generalized traffic that went nowhere?
this makes it impossible for an agency to hide behind activity. It forces a direct, traceable link between the marketing spend and the revenue it generated. You know exactly which dollar led to which job.
Yeah, and that takes us to the grand finale, step 3, predictive budget allocation. This is the most actionable and, frankly, the most exciting part of the framework. This is where they turn all that data into an actionable, guaranteed forecast.
Let's use the detailed case study from the source material to really drive this home, because this is where the math starts to guarantee the outcome.
Okay, so the historical data shows this proven pattern of efficiency. $1,000 spent on geofence PPC ads, specifically targeting HVAC repair in Canyon, Texas.
Which was part of a larger regional expansion strategy.
Right, that $1,000 consistently yields 15 qualified calls, and they know the average cost per lead is $66.
Okay, so we have a reliable, proven cost-to-lead ratio, $66 a lead, based on months of clean, attributed data.
Exactly. So now, let's say the client is expanding and needs exactly 100 qualified calls next month from that specific region. Not 80, not 120. 100 guaranteed jobs to keep their new crew busy.
So the model isn't hoping for the best, it's just doing simple multiplication based on proven efficiency.
Correct. The model confidently projects a required ad spend of $6,600 to hit that target.
Yeah.
That's 100 leads times the $66 CPL.
Right.
And critically, the source material states they provide a forecast that guarantees that predicted lead and call volume of 100 based on maintaining that historical efficiency.
Wait, let's just pause on that for a second. That is the ultimate payoff for any small business owner. We are not talking about a projection. We're talking about a mathematical certainty backed by data.
It completely eliminates the guessing game.
It converts marketing spend from this confusing variable expense into a predictable input in the revenue equation. And this directly solves the biggest stress point for tradesmen: CAPIA management.
You know exactly what you need to spend to generate exactly the volume of high-intent work you need. It's that clear.
It's that powerful shift from paying for activity to investing in outcomes. The clarity of the reporting is the entire selling point. It just removes the complex narrative that agencies so often use to justify activity that isn't driving revenue.
Absolutely. The focus is entirely on leads and profitability. And the takeaway for you, the listener, is that fundamental difference between optimizing for something that makes you feel successful, like a traffic spike, versus optimizing for the indicator that actually guarantees future revenue.
So we've learned how tradesmen in these high-demand areas can escape that vanity metric trap, how they can leverage hyperlocal data for predictive growth, treating marketing as a fixed, measurable input.
Right. And here's the final thought this whole strategy leaves me with. If businesses that rely on customer crisis and a high-intent, immediate needs like plumbers, HVAC techs, can apply this fixed investment, outcome guaranteed model,
Then what?
then how many other businesses are still out there optimizing their marketing for simple clicks when their entire revenue stream is actually driven by urgency and immediate qualified action?
That really is the question, isn't it? How many businesses are still throwing darts at the wall when they could be using a mathematical certainty? It suggests there's a massive gap between true predictive marketing and what most businesses are currently being sold. We hope this analysis gives you the clarity you need to shift your focus from activity to true outcomes. We'll see you next time.